Hi there. I've been going through a book titled Together by Dr. Vivek H Murthy. Now, Dr. Vivek H Murthy was the former Surgeon General of the United States, and in this particular book, he talks about something which I guess needs a vital discussion in our groups. He talks about loneliness, health, and what happens when you start finding connections. And this is quite relevant in contemporary society. And of the many chapters in the book, there is one particular chapter which I would like to share with you today, something which really connected with me. Now, the chapter is titled Circles of Connection. And in this particular chapter, Dr. Vivek talks about 3 circles of connection that we have in our life. One is the inner circle, the second is the middle circle, and the third one is the outer circle of connection. Now, almost all human beings, he says everybody, has 3 circles. And the inner circle is all about your confidants, your partners, your spouses, your children, those people who you are really, really close with, those people who you call maybe 3 a.m. in the morning and say that I got a problem and I have to share it with you, we need to get it solved for me. So that is the inner circle that he talks about. And I'm sure that almost every one of us has at least 1 or 2 people who belong to this particular inner circle, people who we really depend upon. And it is also a reciprocal kind of relationship, because these people too depend upon us. They also expect us to be available maybe 12 a.m. in the morning to listen to them. And these are very close relationships, and it's quite important that you have a healthy inner circle, according to Dr. Vivek H Murthy. But at the same time, he points out that usually such relationships involve physical affection. Not simply sexual affection, but physical affection, wherein you touch someone, you hug someone, and that particular person, and you feel, quite at home. So there is a physical part which is so much involved in it. And the problem, he says, is that it is also important that intimate relationships are not always romantic in nature, and sometimes this is something which can lead to something else which we call possessiveness, and which can really tamper and destroy a good relationship. So this is what he says. While romance may feel exciting in the short term, if a relationship is so all-encompassing that it excludes other important friendships completely or for too long, a love affair can actually lead to relational and collective loneliness. So this is the red area that we should also keep in mind when we get too much intimate in our inner circles, because basically we are all people who love freedom and who should be free enough to choose the friendships and relationships. And if a relationship appears to be stifling your connection with other relationships, that is something which for Dr. Vivek H Murthy, something which calls for red alert. Now he talks about the outer circle. Outer circle is definitely those people who can be called your acquaintances, maybe your colleagues, the people who you meet in a club, in civic organizations, in social organizations, or in your worship places, etc. All these people come in the outside circle, and this outside circle actually is something which leads you to form larger circles of relationship in the society. And then there is one particular circle he emphasizes upon, and something which we often neglect, and that is middle circle. Middle circle are actually comprising of occasional companions. You don't meet them every day. You don't meet them maybe even every month. You meet them once in a while. Maybe you meet them 5 or 6 times a year. Maybe you meet them just twice a month. It varies. It depends. But these are not people who you really depend upon for your day-to-day problems. People who you call at 3 a.m. in the morning. But at the same time, this circle is something which offers you much a therapeutic effect. Because he says, We tell stories, we laugh, we sing and dance and play music, we move and walk and work together, we give and take, call and respond and synchronize with one another. And this behavior comes naturally in every culture on the earth. And then again, another significant thing which we should note when we talk about the middle circle relationships is laughter. He says, laughter is one of the most contagious, universal and instinctive connectors, Dalba told me. Like touch, it is a trigger for endorphin release. So when we share laughter, we feel happier, more familiar with those around us and more at ease. Then, so this humor, this element of humor is something which we often enjoy in the middle circle friendships. And, we join groups where we can be familiar with one another, we are familiar with one another. The cooperation and the, close attention that is exchanged between one another really helps us in increasing many of the biochemical processes, which definitely helps us in moving on in very tough life situations. So please take note of your middle circle. Your middle circle is something which is as important as your inner circle, because your middle circle, having a healthy middle circle will definitely help you have a healthy inner circle and also help you to move beyond middle circles to larger circles in the world. So hope you would get a copy of Together, and hope this review of one chapter of Vivek H Murthy's Together really helped you. Thank you.